While South African businesses have remained resilient through a sluggish economy, with data out of Stats SA showing a steady decline in business closures, monthly figures paint an alarming picture. And joining us now to help us grasp the issue and how to navigate through tough times before it gets to liquidation is Charles Phiri, an Insolvency and Business Rescue Practitioner and the Managing Director for CP Advisors. Thank you so much for joining us, Charles. I think as a starting point, when we take a look at those figures out of Stats SA, the business liquidations, year on year, it shows that we are having some sort of decline. But when you take a look month to month, I mean June shedding 128 businesses that were shut down. What picture does this really then give us? Should we be concerned? Are we in a crisis? What's happening?
Yeah, that's correct. Thanks for having me. Look, Ntokozo, we are constantly seeing companies, most companies shutting their doors, and we're not talking about only small companies, but even the big organizations are also facing the same challenges. The numbers that have been released by statistics, it doesn't make any difference when we look at what is happening on the ground. You notice that the filing of liquidations is happening constantly. So yes, there is a decrease based on what the statistics has released, but it doesn't make any difference. And it's quite concerning because people are losing jobs and it's hard to earn a living. Yes.
And talk us through some of those challenges and risks that business owners who really are trying to remain open continue to face. Load shedding, an obvious one, interest rates and so on. What are those challenges that both big business and small business are facing in the economy right now?
That's a good question. It is a combination of different factors. We're looking at the long run of effect of COVID-19. And that has been now reinforced by the constant load sheddings. And if you combine all those factors, you will notice that companies cannot survive. For example, in scenarios of load shedding, you will notice that let's say you have a budget of you have a certain budget to run your business, but now you have to inject in more money by diesel so that you can run the business. It's not quite easy because it's something that businesses were not used, and now to adjust into the regime that load shedding has brought into the business is not that easy. And to avoid liquidation, I think I would recommend that companies should think of filing business rescue, because you will notice that an early intervention into each and every business can yield better results. Yeah. So if companies consider going into business rescue in time, and as you are aware that Chapter 6 of the Companies Act introduced the business rescue regime for the purposes of saving the companies not to go into a liquidation. As you know, liquidation is an end game. So business rescue, they give the companies opportunity to restructure their affairs by appointing the business rescue practitioner who is going to look into the affairs of the company, try to cut all the costs, come up with turnaround management strategies. And at the end of the day, with an early intervention, you see that most companies can easily come out of business rescue and avoid liquidations.
Let's drill a little bit deeper into that. How would a business owner know? What are the signs that perhaps my business now, I should be considering chatting to someone like Charles, looking into rescuing my business? How does a business owner know that they are really in trouble now and need support?
Whether it's business rescue or it's liquidation, the factor is the same. It's one, inability to pay your debts when they become due. So in the essence that you notice that come month end you are not able to pay the employees, you are not able to pay your creditors, it's time to consider a business rescue. And the most advantage of business rescue, remember, once the company filed business rescue, and in terms of Section 133 of the Companies Act, all the legal proceedings against the company, they are parked. There's what we call a moratorium in terms of Section 133. And until the time that the business risk practitioner come up with a plan, how they are going to repay their creditors. So it's something that there's a need for an awareness. We should acknowledge that. There's a need for an awareness because most of business owners, they're not familiar with what business risk entails. Or what they know is someone is coming to take over my business.
Absolutely.
And with that fear, they end up a situation deteriorating and losing more business and coming to a liquidation. So in business rescue, if you find a practitioner who come up with a good business strategy and implement and propose to the creditors how they are going to repay their debts, you end up coming, for example, I can give you the SAA, South African Airways. They have been in business rescue for the past year. And now I saw that Takaso is they're finalizing the deal. So those are the positive part of being business rescue. And directors or business owners, they should consider that in time, not too late. Because when it's too late, even the practitioner will not do anything other than just conceding to a liquidation.
And Charles, before we wrap up this conversation, I would like you to perhaps end this conversation on a ray of hope by giving us, some examples of those success stories where business rescue has really seen, the business turn around, get back to being able to operate profitably. But first, perhaps just to talk us through a forecast of sorts. There's still issues of interest rates, uncertainty on whether we are going to see another rate hike before the end of the year.
Yes.
Load shedding, while it may have eased here and there, still a major challenge for corporates and SMEs. Talk us through just navigating perhaps the next year and a half or so for businesses to avoid even getting to the point of needing business rescue.
Yeah, thank you. It's quite hard. It's quite hard. And I think one of the big player that needs to assist into saving businesses is this load shedding. If we have solutions to the load shedding, I believe that the businesses will be able to sustain. But again, as I said earlier on, each and every business owners, they should know what they want to achieve. And you notice that some of the businesses, they are not well structured. And because they are not well structured and they cannot forecast what will come. Look, we're having elections next year, and most of the investors, they kind of pull back to say, let's see what is going to happen after the elections. Are we going to invest now? No, they are not going to invest. It's uncertain. Look, finances, business services, real estate, accommodation, tourism, those are most of the industries that are being impacted. And if you look at those industries, they are the ones that they contribute a lot to the country's GDP. So it's up to the business owners to look into the forecast, the businesses that they are doing. Maybe they can think of shifting and look into energy sector, because that's a sector that is doing fine. So it's about having time, sit with your advisors, whether it's the practitioners or turnaround advisors, and look into your financials and come with a proper plan. Yes. So really going back to the drawing board when it comes to sustaining your business. Thank you so much, Charles, for chatting to us today. And of course, that's Charles Phiri, who is an insolvency and business rescue practitioner, as well as the managing director for CP Advisors.